Well, good afternoon. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you here for this weekly devotional. I intentionally waited for this week to bring you devotional on this day because today happens to be my birthday. And as always, I appreciate all the birthday wishes that I've already received, by the way. Thank you. But I especially appreciate the birthday wishes that I get from my sister and my two brothers. My two brothers, Manuel and Johnny, they reached out to me this morning and they wished me a happy birthday. And they're always faithful about doing that. And what's really special about this for me is that these two brothers have seen me grow up from the time that I was a baby to now. And so they've seen me in every stage of my life. And I was thinking about this idea, and I thought about what the message was this last Sunday on these two brothers. What we looked at in Romans chapter 9, verses 6 to 16, we looked at Paul anguished because his brothers in the nation of Israel had refused to accept the Messiah and therefore found themselves excluded from the covenant promise. And it pained him so much that he said, what I would do even if I were to give my own salvation for the sake of my brothers. But indeed he couldn't. And he looked at this situation, and when he analyzed the lives of two brothers, Jacob and Esau, he said, here are two twins. They were born in the same household. They had been raised under the same family, and yet two brothers couldn't be more further apart. They couldn't be any more different. One sought the things of this world. He lived for the day. He looked at the temporal things. He valued the temporal things, and yet despised or discredited the things that were eternal and unseen. And that was Esau. And Jacob, of course, sought the eternal things. He looked for God. He looked for that relationship with the Lord in this walk with the Lord. And so when we look at this, we see one brother who lived for the moment, lived for the day, didn't think of the godly things, only thought about the worldly things. And here's this other brother that was really seeking a relationship with God throughout his life. In fact, he wrestled with God, and to the point where he said, I won't let go unless you bless me. And sadly, Esau was the opposite. Here was a brother that did let go. He never sought the things of God. And so Paul looked at these two brothers and he says, guys, it's the same way for us now. We were the elders, just like Esau. Ours was the covenant promise for the taking. All we had to do was just reach out and take it. And yet we missed it. We missed the Messiah. And now this promise is going to be passed on to the younger, which of course is the Gentiles, you and I. And that was depicted in Jacob. And so when we look at this story, it's really important because it tells us as Christians that we need to always understand that they're out there, these brothers that got away. And we looked in Genesis and we realized here Esau at the end of his life, even though he loved his brother, he loved his family, he was never part of the covenant promise because he never sought the things of God. So he fades away into history, always to be wondered whatever happened to him. But we know that he's lost to history, and he's the brother that got away. And so for us as Christians, we need to remind ourselves there are brothers out there that are going to get away. There's sisters out there that are going to get away unless we tell them about Christ. And so it's an encouragement and a reminder to us of the importance of these things, because just as it pained Paul, so it pains God to see those out there that don't know him yet. They're the ones that have gotten away. And remember what I told you in my message too. Both of these brothers fathered a nation. We saw in Jacob, of course, he fathered the nation of Israel. And we saw in his brother Esau, who fathered the nation of Edom. So the Israelites and the Edomites. And we saw that in each one of these nations, there was an ultimate son. On one side, here was Israel with the ultimate son in Jesus Christ. And in the nation of Edom, the ultimate son in King Herod. And both of these two would find themselves pitted against each other when King Herod attempted to kill the baby Messiah by slaughtering the infants in Bethlehem. So two brothers on two radically opposite sides of redemption history. It's a beautiful story, but it's also a sad story because it's revealing of the truth that some of these brothers, some of these sisters will fade away, ultimately to be forgotten. They're the ones that got away. Let's labor all the more faithfully to bring the message and the promise to those who need to hear it, so that we indeed can avoid these brothers and sisters that would get away. May you be blessed on this day, and I look forward to speaking with you and delivering another devotional to you soon. God bless.